Hello and welcome back to the channel. Today's video we have the Leatherman Wave. I know it's been a while since my last video. I've had a few injuries I've been trying to recover from, and it's not really allowed me a lot of time for doing these videos, but now I'm all better now, so we should be able to get some of these back going. I've got a whole bunch of things to go through in the next few weeks. I've got a video on the Spyderco Shaman I'm working on. I've got a video on the Spyderco Smock. I've got a video on the Spyderco Little Native. I've got a video on the Spyderco Manix 2. I've got a video on the Cold Steel Pro Light, I think is what this is called. I've only had this one for a little while. Honestly, it's a lot better than I thought it was going to be for such a cheap knife. But yeah, whatever. That's coming up soon too. I've got the Kershaw Blur and the A. Purvis Progeny V2 Blackout Edition here. So, lots of different things, lots of different budget ranges, and, I'm hoping to get all these done and out not too long from now. It takes some time sometimes because, I've got all my kids are home now because it's summertime. And anyway, let's get back to the video. So today we have the Leatherman Wave. I think recently we did the original Leatherman. And this one is definitely a little bit different. The Wave is great because, it's got tools on the outside. It's definitely like a very capable multi-tool. Has all the functions you'd expect in a modern multi-tool. But this one is actually probably 15 years old. I've had this thing, honestly, I feel like forever. So let's dive right into it. So here we go. Oh, and real quick, this is the original Wave, not the Wave Plus. The only real difference is going to be removable wire cutters, which, if you're a big fan and you want removable wire cutters and replaceable wire cutters, I guess I would go for the Wave Plus, not the regular Wave, but, that's whatever. So let's get started. The first thing that I really like here is the large number of tools. I'm not going to try to count them all out right now, but you can see on the outside alone, there are 4 different tools. Inside we have pliers, wire cutters, we've got bottle openers, can openers, we've got screwdrivers, multiple different kinds, lots of different things. We've got a pair of scissors. This thing has a load of tools, and that's frankly amazing. I love that, and I think you'd find that there's not a lot of things on that you don't have on here that you'd want. And so that's great. I love that it's a multi-tool and it has a lot of tools, and that's maybe the main point of a multi-tool. Next, I really like that there are tools that are accessible from the outside. Things like a serrated blade. Great. Things like a plain edge blade. Note the lovely tip that I've broken off because I treat my stuff like crap. There's a file. I believe this is even like a diamond file. There's a saw, which I've actually used. So, there are a lot of tools on this thing just on the outside that are useful. And even another great thing is there's now one-hand opening tools. You can actually access just the knife. So, if you just have to cut something real fast, you don't have to take the whole tool out. Take it open, find where you put where the knife is, get the knife out. There's none of that anymore because that stuff's all on the outside, and I think that's fantastic. I like the handles on this too. So you'll notice here much more rounding, so you can really grip down compared to the original Leatherman. And frankly, this is a great thing. You get down on something that you really want to hammer down. These are just super smooth and super round and super easy to hold, and I love that. It makes it so it's much more usable of a tool in my mind. Next, this thing, because I've had it forever, is actually basically one-handable opening. You just give it a little flick, you can get straight to your pliers. Now, I don't remember what this was like when I first got it. And I don't currently have another brand new Leatherman laying around, so I can't tell you if if that's something that's common for them or what. But this one, I can open completely one-handed for pretty much everything except for like the small tools inside. And that's fantastic. This is a super, super great thing for me because I really, a lot of time you're like, oh crap, I need to grab out my pliers. I'm holding on to something over here with one hand, get them out with the other hand, and then I've got my pliers. That was more awkward than I remember. You can use them, and then you're good. Close them back up, done. That's great. So the other thing here, this is compatible with Leatherman's bit kit. I don't have the bit kit, but I would probably like to buy one, and I'm probably going to buy one because it basically gives you a huge number of extra screwdrivers, extra bits, and stuff that all fit nice and neatly in here. You pop them out, swap them out. You can use Phillips head, Torx bits, flatheads, anything. Lock them back in, done. I like that. That's great. Next, we have the fact that this thing is just extremely versatile. And by that I mean, there's a tool in here that you will use pretty much every day of your life if you're somebody who does anything with your hands. I use my hands a lot. You might notice some of them they're kind of cut up in places, beat up. My hands take a beating. I've used this thing in all situations. I've taken it camping and used it. I've used it at a wedding. That's right, a wedding. I had to cut something at a wedding and I needed the scissors, and there they were. This thing is just so useful. It's such a great tool to have. I also find that after, it's super nice that this thing has the Leatherman 25-year warranty. Because when I eventually break it completely, which honestly is probably going to happen. I mean, let's just be fair and honest. I'm a little rough with things. When I eventually break it completely, I can just send it back to them. It's only 15 years old. I got 10 more years. 10 more years to beat this thing up before I have to worry about having to replace it on my own. And I think that's fantastic. I love it when a company stands by their products, and Leatherman totally does. And that's fantastic. The other thing here, every tool on here, and I mean every single tool with the exception of the pliers, locks. That's right. They're all locking tools. That means, boom, knife out, can't close it. Gotta use the liner lock. Even the saw. Yep. Or the file, I mean. Yep. Liner lock. Saw has a liner lock. All the internal tools. Click out. Boom. This little thing here locks all of these tools. All of them. That's super great to me. I love the fact that all the tools lock. So when you're actively using them and bearing down on a product, on something, what you might be doing, because, this is a working tool. If you're using a working tool as a working tool, it's gonna, you're gonna be using it hard, and things can slip and slide and go all over the place, but you're not gonna have that problem with this because everything locks. And I love that. So let's move on to things that I'm not super a huge fan of. So I may have mentioned this already, but the removable wire cutters on the Wave Plus are a great feature, but I don't have them. So, whatever. I can't complain about them because I didn't buy this as a Wave Plus. I bought it as a Wave. So, it's not the biggest thing, but I have to mention it because it doesn't have them. Next, I love that the knives are accessible by one hand. That's fantastic. But I don't like the fact that the saw and the file aren't. Because, frankly, they're also useful tools. Honestly, you could just as easily have made this kind of a notch right here, like a little single finger hole right here for you to do that with the saw, and right here for you to do that with the file. I actually don't really get why that isn't a thing. Why aren't they openable by one hand like you can with the knife and the other knife? It should be that way. So, whatever. Once again, the next thing is there are no steel markings anywhere on here. So we are again using Leatherman's mystery stainless steel. I have to say, it is pretty stainless because this is, again, a 15-year-old tool that I've not treated well. I've never oiled it. I've never done anything like that. And do you see any rusting? Because I don't. I really don't. And anywhere. This is completely stainless. But that also means, what are the knife blades? What? I don't know. Maybe they're 420 HC. Maybe they're CPM LOL. I have no idea. But I like to know these things because I like to know if I have to bring extra materials for sharpening. I like to know if I'm going to how I have to maintain things. Now, thankfully, the fact that this is actually stainless means I don't really have to do a lot of maintenance for this because it never rusts. And so that's good. But I just wish I knew. I like to know. Everybody else tells me. Leatherman should tell me too. All right, moving on. The removable screwdriver bit that I talked about earlier being compatible with the bit kit. Great feature. However, there's also a little one, which you'll notice right here is missing. Why? It fell out like, I don't know, 10 years ago. I've never had to use it again, so I didn't bother replacing it with anything. But I don't have one. It's not there. So this is just an empty space for me in this tool. It's just basically carried around weight that I'm not using, and I wish that it wasn't like that. Now, I don't know if the bit kit comes with the small ones. It probably does, so I could probably just buy a bit kit and then replace them, but it hasn't really been an issue, so I haven't done it. The action here on the opening and closing of the knives is not really very good, but that's because this is a multi-tool. This is not like you're not going to flick these out ever. I mean, maybe you could loosen this up enough to the pivots for the knives to get them out. But it's not made for that, so I don't think you would want to do that. That would probably affect the rest of the tool, so it's not really worth doing. But it's worth noting that this is not a pleasurable experience. This is not on par with, say, I don't know. Let's see what we got around here. It's not a smock. It's not anything like that. It's not going to open nice and smooth and close quickly or anything. It's a multi-tool blade. It's a knife. It functions, but it's never going to be fun or pleasurable to open. Lastly here, this thing is definitely too big to be carried in your pocket, just loose. It comes with a sheath, which I lost 10 years ago, and no idea where I put it, so I have it in some other kind of like nylon-y sheath thing. This fits a lot better in your pocket, the original. It's just so much thinner. And let's see if we can get a weight measurement going here. I don't even know if the scale is working today. It might be. Let's find out. Yes. That's almost 8.5 ounces versus 5 ounces. Just a little 5.25 ounces. The Wave is just insanely big. It's very heavy. It's not a in the pocket, loose in your pocket kind of tool. It's an on your belt, in a sheath kind of tool, or in your backpack, or something like that. Every time, all day of the week. And that's not the end of the world, but if you're not carrying a backpack, or you don't have a sheath, or you don't wear a belt because you're wearing gym shorts, this is not coming with you. It's just not. This is staying at home, or staying in the car, or something. It's not going to be the thing that comes with you everywhere you go, like some other smaller multi-tools totally can. So let's move on to the things that I really, really, really don't like. This is going to be a really long list, though. So you ready? Nothing. I sat around for hours trying to think of something that I really hated about this tool. Something that I'm like, ooh, I don't know. This is maybe almost a deal breaker for me. Why don't they do this? Why is this done like that? This doesn't have that. There isn't that. This is the Leatherman Wave. If you've never heard of a Leatherman Wave, you've been living under a rock for 20 years. This thing is iconic, and it's iconic because it's awesome. And it's awesome because there is nothing fatally wrong with this tool. Is it perfect? No, definitely not. There are little nitpicks. I've listed some of them that I have. You know, but is there a single thing here that's like a big fatal flaw? No. No, I don't think so. I think this tool is not, again, not perfect, but there's nothing here that I really, really hate. So my final verdict on, would I recommend this tool? I mean, it probably goes without saying, but yeah, I mean, yeah. This is the Leatherman Wave. It is an icon of the multi-tools. It is an icon in the EDC world. It is an icon in construction industries. Everybody in the construction industry knows what a Leatherman Wave is. Everybody who works with their hands for a living has a Leatherman, probably a Wave. This tool is everywhere. Everywhere you go. You see, if somebody comes to your house to fix a pipe, they've got one of these on their belt. These are so good. Yes, I recommend this tool 1,000 times over. It's great. Now, I would probably go for a more modern one, like the Wave Plus, instead of the regular Wave. You get the replaceable wire clipper cutters, which, is a nice thing because I have, put some wear on them. It's not like the end of the world worth of wear or anything here, but as you can see, this thing is filthy because it's been through hell and back. But I just used this literally like 2 days ago to change some electrical motors out in my son's little electric car. So like this, it's such a great tool. You really do need to have a Leatherman and probably a Wave if you could only have one. So that's probably where I'm going to leave this particular video. It's good to be back making videos. I'm probably hopeful to get a couple more up in the next couple of days, and I hope everybody is going to enjoy them. And, I've got actually another Leatherman on the way. Actually, two things from Leatherman that should be here tomorrow even from UPS. I've got a Leatherman Signal, which I'm excited to try because it looks cool, and I do a lot of camping, and it seems like it might be more meant for the camping environment. And I'm trying one of those new little like COVID key things that people are, you see advertisements for everywhere. And really, honestly, just because why not? I've got nothing else to do. We're all in quarantine. But here we go. So, those things should be here soon. We get a more modern Leatherman. This is 15 years old, so it's not the most modern Leatherman. So we'll try one that's relatively new and see how that compares. And I love this one. I loved the original. I love how much Leatherman has changed and evolved over the years and created just honestly like truly iconic tools. So I hope you guys enjoyed this one. I'll see you guys soon. Have a good rest of your day. Bye.